We're live. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how's it going, Rudy?
Yeah. After some technical glitches, everything's good.
You and me, bro. Everybody can tell we're in different places today, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
here we are. Here we are.
Here
Here
we
we are.
for another episode of Chá Pedagógico, everyone.
We're
So thank you
live.
for joining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so
And
much.
so,
Dude,
how's it
I'm
going,
dying
Rudy?
to-
Tell people that
Yeah.
we didn't mean what we
After
said
some.
in the video.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Okay. So we have a bunch of people still logging in, coming in, joining us here
Yeah.
on YouTube. So come on, guys. Chá Pedagógico is on air as live.
Yeah.
And this is not the last episode of the year, but
11, actually, right?
This is episode
Since
11.
we started with Disal, yeah.
Exactly. This is episode 11.
It is.
And next month is going to be the last episode of the year.
Yes.
So, and then we're going to have much deserved vacations
That's true.
because
That
we
is true.
definitely need them, you know.
So
So
have more gray hair. I mean, you, especially you, Rudy. You know.
I don't have a lot of gray hair. My hair is okay, but look at my beard, dude. Just the other day, my daughter
it's all
came
the
to me and she was
stress.
like, Daddy, you're like Santa Claus. I said, why do I look like Santa
You're
Claus?
preparing for Santa Claus, right?
Because of my
For
beard.
December.
So, yeah. So, guys, welcome to Chá Pedagógico. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
My name is Rudy Maciello, and this is my good buddy André
André
Hedlund.
Yes.
And today is November 24. This is the 11th episode of
Yes.
Chá Pedagógico, of this new era of Chá
Exactly.
Pedagógico.
And by the way, let me just remind everyone, if you don't know what Chá Pedagógico is, it's just two geek, nerdy guys drinking tea and talking about linguistics and neuroscience, you know. We have
Which
our
is on our
t-shirts to prove,
t-shirts.
yes.
Yeah.
And today we want to talk to you about one of the most controversial topics in our industry, I think, right, Rudy? So
Yes.
did you guys believe what we said on Disal's Instagram account? Because we said we were going to share a secret
Yeah.
to unlock your
And
mindset.
today we want to
talk
and
to you
stuff
about-
like that, right, Rudy? One
We're
of the
definitely
most
not
controversial
gonna do
topics
that.
in
Definitely not going to
think,
do
right,
that.
Rudy?
Yeah.
So the whole
Yes.
thing,
You
but
guys
we're
believe
definitely going
what
to
we said
address
on
the people who actually say these things.
that's true.
And
Yes.
we're going to analyze the methodologies. We're going to tell you, and hopefully you're going to interact with us and here on the chat box. So please use the chat box here.
Yes.
It's here. Okay.
Yeah.
And use the
And also
chat
there's-
box because
There's
there's a poll.
right? Yeah.
Yes, there's a
yeah.
poll.
Yeah.
So take a look at the poll. We were talking about the best teaching method. What do you guys think is the best teaching method? I mean,
Yeah.
is there something called the best teaching method
The
for-
holy grail of
for
English
ELT?
teaching?
Exactly, for ELT.
Yeah.
So not really. So if you guys don't think that
Yeah.
there is the best teaching method, this is the one that you're gonna go for.
Yeah.
No, or maybe you're like, no, some methods are definitely better. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the second option you have. The third option you have here in the poll is yes, there is a
There
better
is a
method.
better method. Uh-huh.
And the last one, I'm not so sure if there is a better
Yeah.
method. So yeah.
So
feel
what is
free.
the answer, Rudy?
There's no correct answer, or maybe there is.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no correct answer, but there is an
Yeah.
incorrect answer.
There is an incorrect answer. And usually the incorrect answer is very easy to spot. Okay.
Yeah.
If there's any crazy person online promising to help students learn English really fast, like 10 times faster than any other method, because they have found out a place, a region in the brain that needs to be activated according to expert X from whatever, that's
Yeah.
probably BS. And I'm sorry I'm saying that, but it doesn't work, folks, you know?
Exactly.
And the worst thing is when they claim because they have
invented
found
their
out
own
a
method,
place,
right,
a
Rudy?
region.
Yes. But
Yeah.
before they claim they've got their own
Yeah.
method, they have this hook that captures
Yeah.
the attention of both teachers and students, because they normally say that they've come up with the best methodology or the most revolutionary methodology, or that their methodology is based on science, because there's
Especially neuroscience, right?
especially neuroscience. There is one of those people who are all over social media. One
Yeah.
of them says or uses actually the name is Stephen Crashion. completely incorrectly.
Yeah. As if
Seriously.
you guys, you're familiar with Crashion's hypotheses, right?
Yeah.
And the input hypothesis, the effective filter, and so on and on. And they promote Crashion's theory as if it was something discovered like, this year, so that it kind of looks and sounds brand new. And it's something that no one has heard of, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing about the people who make those promises is that they are not English teachers. Many of them are not English teachers. They claim that they have, I don't know, maybe lived in the US for a couple of months or years. They realized that they could teach people better, more effectively, faster. And then they came up with this method based on whatever. And then the worst part is that they say that regular English schools have been deceiving you guys for years. They don't want you to know the truth because they want you to keep paying the tuition, right, Rudy? Come
Yes.
on.
Yes.
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 Sounds
So,
too good to be true, right?
yes. So I think the first red flag we got to pay attention to, and teachers,
Yeah.
you as well. Why are we? Because many of the people following us right now, they're teachers, they're language teachers, or
Exactly.
they're educators, and they must be thinking, "Oh, okay, I'm not a student, so why should I watch the episode today?" You should, because
Yeah.
the same people who say the same thing about neuroscience and proven by science, etc., we do have a lot of people saying that they've come with the best methodology for teachers.
Yeah.
If you teachers use their methodology, you're going to have the best result from your students, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. Don't fall for this crap. This is the very first time I'm
We're not
cursing,
supposed to curse, okay?
but it
Yeah.
is. I'm sorry. It is.
Yeah. But
Don't
it's
do that.
bullshit, guys.
It
Come on.
is. It
Yeah.
is. Don't do that. First
Yeah.
of all, first of all,
Yeah.
um, there's no such thing as uh, s- th- something like the best way or the newest way to
Yeah.
learn something. No,
Yes.
we
Yep.
learn things the same way we learned 5,000 years ago, because the
Yeah.
brain, of course, not 5,000 years ago, but the
Yeah.
brain's still the same. There's
Yeah.
nothing that's going to make us learn differently.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Even
It's
though we
in
have new
simple.
technologies, the brain
Exactly.
is basically the same, has always been.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So definitely we got to have attention.
Yeah.
And from the attention, we are going to start absorbing things. And then, of course, we're going to go through the different types of memories, etc., different types of attention, etc., etc.,
Yeah.
etc. But basically, attention. Once we
Yeah.
have attention, you're definitely going to have some learning.
Yeah.
So that's the very first thing.
And
If you
that
see,
requires effort, right, Rudy?
of
Because
course,
behind the promises, there's always something. Yeah, it's easy. You don't have to do any of those boring grammar lessons.
yeah,
You don't need to buy a book or whatever. It's easy. You don't have. There's no effort required. There is. We cannot learn without effort, folks. To
exactly.
at least pay attention and start memorizing things, we have to commit.
Yeah.
To make an effort, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's as simple as that,
Yeah.
And shout out to Bruno Cesar. Hi, Bruno.
Yeah.
Tasia, shout out to Tasia. She's just joined us,
Tasia, welcome.
hello. Thank you so much for joining us. So don't fall for that.
No.
Okay. If you see some teachers, some of them are actually teachers, and this is what hurts me the most, because they are teachers and they are saying these things to other teachers, and many other teachers have been falling for this. I've checked some of their social media accounts. They have thousands of followers. They have thousands of teachers following
Sometimes
them.
millions. Yeah.
I mean, the ones that are
Thousands.
promising a revolutionary methodology, so teachers buy this, because then thinking that they're going to expose their students to a better methodology or whatever, a revolutionary methodology. So they buy their course, they buy their materials, their content everywhere,
Platform, whatever they
platform,
offer.
etc.
Yeah.
Yes. When again, learning has always been the same. attention, and
Yeah.
effort. And of course, we're not going to go through that today. We've gone through that in many other episodes of Chá
Oh,
Pedagógico.
yes.
You can watch the previous episodes of Chá Pedagógico here on YouTube, on Gisal's
Yeah.
YouTube channel. There is this
Playlist, right?
podcast
Yeah.
playlist, not podcast,
We have a playlist.
playlist. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
That's how fancy we are, huh? There's a
exactly.
whole playlist. Yeah.
So you can do that, and
Yeah.
then we're going to see the minutiae of the whole
Yeah.
memory,
Yeah.
attention, etc. So don't do that.
Yeah.
There is no revolutionary methodology.
No.
What
And
we
you
what we
know,
have, yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, I was going to say we had a lot of fun on Instagram because Rudy was sending me all of the the ads from those guys, the
Yes,
ones trying to sell a
yes.
revolutionary method. And we were cursing and having fun and laughing like, come on, I can't believe this person said that,
I,
right?
I'm I'm I'm
We have
gonna
so
try.
many messages
I got my
on
phone
Instagram.
here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to find some of them. I'm not gonna tell names. We're not going
Yes.
to
Yeah.
expose anyone.
No naming
Uh,
names, okay?
exactly. But I'm
Okay.
definitely gonna find some of
Yeah.
them, and
Oh
just
man.
so I can reproduce whatever they're saying.
Yeah.
So first of all, no, there's no revolutionary methodology. What we
Yeah.
do have actually is 5 or 6 methodologies for language teaching,
Yeah.
and everything we have uh, after or
And
beyond these five,
derivatives, let's
six,
say, like main
exactly.
ones and yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, exactly. They're like Frankensteins because
yeah,
we have some teachers who get part of the 5% of one methodology, and then
yeah,
include this person includes 20% of another methodology, and they
yeah,
claim they've created revolutionary methodology
yeah,
when they didn't. It's a
yeah.
lie. It's a
I I
lie.
I found one, man.
Have you? Man, you're faster than me.
No, but yeah, let me. So this guy says that there are three myths that make you not learn English, basically. And they don't want you to know. I love this, the conspiracy theory behind
Oh,
everything.
yeah,
They don't want
yeah.
you to know
Exactly.
three things that they put in your head. And the first one is that you cannot translate to Portuguese. So,
Oh,
well,
this is the most famous one, right? This is the
yeah, you
most
cannot
famous.
translate to Portuguese. You shouldn't learn grammar. So basically, this guy got things that actually are true. They,
Yeah.
if you analyze what he's saying, they are true. But then he says you can become fluent in 5 months or whatever if you use neurolinguistic programming, and
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
if you use my course. Here's the thing, guys. First of all, neurolinguistic programming is considered a pseudoscience,
Yeah.
because again, there are certain things that, well, yeah, maybe they work a little bit, but I'm telling you, it works for just a couple of people
Yeah.
because they are already in the process of doing something. It's not magical, like, hey, I'm going to change the way I think about things, the words in my brain, and then I can change my reality. No, that it's not like that.
No, it's
So
definitely
no,
not like that.
no. So
No.
there's this guy. I don't know if you remember another one there, Rudy.
I've got another one. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're saying that if you want to be fluent
yeah,
as fast as possible, you got to know a new
yeah.
way of learning English.
Okay.
I'm quoting them. It's here. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm reading
Okay.
it. Okay.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
then there's the second slide. This new
Yeah.
way of learning English is valid or is being validated by
Yeah.
some of the greatest neuroscientists of the planet. Now I have to
That's
stop
my
here.
favorite
I
part.
have
Yeah.
to stop here and
Yeah.
let's discuss. Seriously, I have never heard of a neuroscientist uh, telling people, look, if you
Yeah.
do that, you're going to be fluent faster. You're going to learn faster,
Yeah.
or not learn faster, but you're going to learn a language faster, or that you're
Yeah.
going to be fluent in a given natural language faster. I have never seen a neuroscientist say any of these, any of this,
Yeah. No,
and
because they
they
don't.
haven't said because they don't, of
Yeah.
course, and of course, the last slide. So this is the hook.
Yeah.
Are you interested in that? Click on the button below and watch
Yeah.
an introduction, a free introduction on the
Yeah.
on the matter.
But before we close the website or something like that,
Come
because that's a
on.
trigger, that's a psychological trigger for
Yeah.
you to actually click,
Yeah.
Yeah. I found one here that
Okay.
starts with a very cool image of the brain. And then there's this lady who says, well, you don't have to spend 7 years in an
Oh,
English course to be
this is
fluent
beautiful.
and sound like a native. You don't have to learn grammar. You don't have to talk to other people.
Of
You
course
don't have
not.
you don't have to go to boring lessons. It's much simpler. Great researchers, and she mentions Stephen Crashion here,
I think
have
I know who she
found a
is.
way to learn using your subconscious. That's very
Oh,
cool. you
I
know,
don't I don't think Crashion has ever used this term in any of his
no,
studies.
no, no.
Because he
To
was
be honest,
he
no.
was about interaction. How the hell is he going to talk about subconscious, about
Come on, right?
consciousness? He talks about social interactions, and
Yeah,
reinforcements, and all these things, and behavior.
exactly. So it doesn't make sense, man. And that's the
What?
how vague things are.
Nah.
It's just they twist everything, and
Yeah.
it sounds interesting
Yeah.
because there's someone behind this method, and we have to address that elephant in the room. Like Mr. Trunk is not here now, but the idea is
We are in different places today.
we're in different
Every
places. Yeah,
yeah.
everything is
Jeez.
different,
Yeah.
folks. At least we got the mics to sound
And
okay.
the t-shirts.
And the t-shirts, right? But here's the thing. I have just like Rudy has a lot of ELT books. I have a couple of ELT books. Richards and Rogers, for example, they
Yeah.
talk about methodology in ELT, and there's a very interesting chapter in one of those books by, I think, Will Renandia, and he talks about how in the last at least 60 years or so, people have been obsessed sort of for looking for the holy grail of teaching, English teaching, looking for the best methodology. But we have to differentiate because an approach is different from a method, and methodology is different
Oh,
also.
yes.
So if you think about an approach, it's something larger that actually comprises an ideology. And if you say behaviorism, for example, that's an approach.
Yeah.
Constructivism is an approach.
Yeah.
Critical pedagogy, like we talked about Paulo Freire, that's an approach.
Yeah.
But a method is kind of like a step-by-step procedure.
It's a recipe.
Yeah, it's a recipe,
It's
right?
a recipe.
So when they talk about methods, they're telling you, those people, the charlatans, they're telling you that they have created a step-by-step procedure that if you follow to the letter,
Yeah.
it will work every time better than whatever is available there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense, guys, because all of the methods we know, they have been developed over many, many years. They have been somehow accredited by research, like serious research. Even if you don't like it, Cambridge,
Dude,
for
seriously,
example,
say that
come
again.
on.
Seriously,
Yeah.
serious, accredited
Yeah, they have been.
journals,
They have
accredited
been
journals,
tested. They have been
accredited
published in journals.
institutions, because
Yeah.
nowadays people have been using
Yeah.
a paper or some study that was published somewhere in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere,
Exactly.
and because it was published,
Has never been replicated.
no, of
It
course not.
sucks.
Forget it.
Methodology is
And what did
bad.
they do? They
Yeah.
use this
Yeah.
study just to back up whatever they
Yeah.
understand is true, but it's not.
Exactly.
That's fake. That's
Yeah.
wrong and incorrect. I have another one that you're gonna love.
Yes. I
You,
think I
Andre,
know.
and
I
you
know this one.
guys.
Yeah.
You.
Shoot. Yeah.
English school that uses neuroscience to teach in 8 weeks.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing, huh?
8 weeks. Okay. Come on, man.
Andrea,
Yeah.
have you ever
Yeah.
read any study or any paper or any book on neuroscience real, related to
No.
education and language teaching, of course, or
Yeah.
any? As a matter of fact, have you ever read any studies on neuroscience that
Yeah.
can specify the amount of time a person is going to take to learn something?
Yeah. The closest thing I've read, which is not even close, is there is a school in California for the U.S. military that I think I've mentioned here. It's called the
Yeah.
Defense Language Institute Foreign Language Center. And this was created in the 1940s to send American soldiers to France, to Japan later on, I think, because of the war, and they had to learn as quickly as possible because of the mission, right?
Yeah.
But even still, if you consider the amount of work that those guys put into the learning process, they had classes for about a year, 5 or 6 or 7 hours a day. Even homework took another extra hour, so they were fully immersed, if you think about it, every day. And there's also the psychological aspect of, they're they're the military folks. There's a hierarchy there.
Yeah.
They're very disciplined, and if they fail the course, that will jeopardize the mission. They might get someone killed, they might kill themselves, right?
Yeah.
So in that scenario, apparently you can learn in less than 18 months, depending on the language. But then again,
What was the amount of exposure? I mean,
it
talking
was
about hours. Tell us again.
everyday
Every
hours. Like
day. Exactly.
it's not feasible for people like
Forget
us.
it.
You
Forget
have
it.
to give up your entire life to dedicate your whole day to learning that language.
Because what they
Yeah,
were doing,
yeah,
they came too close
yeah,
to what real life is. The exposure
exactly.
of a real life,
Yeah.
they came too close. And again, every day for a very, very large amount of hours.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's what we have in normal condition for language
Yeah,
development.
yeah.
I have another one that's amazing
Yeah,
because
go ahead, bro.
one
Yeah,
of the problems is also
yeah,
so-called nuggets of truth.
yeah,
What is a nugget of truth?
yeah.
First of all, for those who don't know what a nugget is, I'm not talking about the food. I'm not talking about
Chicken
chicken
nuggets.
McNuggets. That's or chicken
Yeah,
nuggets. That's
yeah,
not what I'm talking about.
mm,
Nuggets are pepitas. Okay?
yeah, yeah,
Pepitas de verdades or pepitas de
yeah,
sabedoria or something
yeah.
like this,
Like drops,
Exactly.
like
So
yeah,
nuggets of truth.
little
And
shots. Yeah,
what they
yeah,
are saying in this one, I'm not going to say the name of the person. I'm not going to say
yeah,
the tag, of course. But what they're saying, they're using a book, and it's a real book,
yeah.
Rápido e Devagar.
Yes,
This is a real
Daniel
book.
Kahneman. Yeah,
Exactly. It is a real
yeah.
book.
It's a real book by a serious researcher that they
Exactly.
completely twisted the hell out. But
And
anyway, yeah,
what is the negative truth that we have here?
yeah,
They're
yeah,
claiming, this is the very first or the second line actually, that the
yeah.
brain is a machine that can associate patterns, which is true.
It is true.
We associate
Yeah,
patterns. And
yeah,
then why is it a negative? Because they post this,
yeah.
and then you're going to be like, okay, there's a book by
Yeah.
a serious author. All right,
Who
it's a real
won a
book.
Nobel Prize, by the way.
By the
Yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah,
there's some sort of truth in what they're saying because the brain
yeah,
indeed associate patterns, but
yeah.
then they completely get out of tracks. They say
Then comes
that's
the
why an
outrageous
illiterate
claim.
person, that's
Yeah,
why an illiterate person can
yeah,
speak fluently in their native language without ever reading a book on
yeah,
grammatic or
yeah.
grammar, sorry.
Yes, you
Um,
see, it's the funny thing, Rudy, is that we get pissed off, man.
what is the connection? Seriously. So
So
they're saying
basically,
that
it
if you
goes
don't read
against
a
the
book,
research, man. Yeah,
come on, seriously. No,
yeah,
no, they have no, there is no connection between
yeah,
uh, associating patterns and because
yeah.
you're an illiterate and you can learn, you
And the
develop a
lack of
language.
reading.
You
Yes,
can be illiterate, you
yeah,
can be illiterate and
yes,
still develop your language because we're talking about different systems and
yeah,
different strategies and
yeah.
different patterns.
And the impression this gives you is that as an adult, you don't have to read in an additional language to learn,
Yeah.
because see, even illiterate people, they can speaking their language. But you're comparing two very different things, you know, because okay, we grew
Jesus
up,
Christ, this is so wrong.
so our brain is very plastic, and we grew
Yeah.
up in this environment where people spoke that language. We became users of that language, our native language, mother tongue, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Comparing that to being an adult and, you know, jumping to the conclusion that you don't need reading. There's a lot of research in second language acquisition, psycholinguistics, showing that extensive reading is actually great for learning, you know, new
Of course, it's
vocabulary.
exact.
And,
Not only new
you know,
vocabulary,
exactly,
new
right?
constructions.
Yes.
Not so long ago, I was giving a seminar on the differences between spoken and written language. I think it was a couple of months ago, 3 months ago, not more than this,
Yeah.
to this university in India. And I was talking about this. And the biggest difference that we have between written and spoken discourse is that spoken discourse has to be very dynamic. Therefore, we're going to use constructions that are dynamic as well, that are fast, that people can actually grasp, process, and keep the interaction going. We're
Yeah.
not going to use very long and sophisticated constructions in spoken discourse because of this dynamic, because of this entire dynamism, you know.
Exactly.
The written discourses, on the other hand, we have the time to stop, go back, and read it again, and stop, go to a dictionary, look up a word in a
Yeah.
dictionary, etc., etc. So therefore, we're able to actually use more sophisticated
Yeah.
constructions, and we do. If you take a look at a column in the New York Times or the New Yorker, which is one of the most renowned magazines that we have in the world,
Yeah.
you're going to see editorials and articles that are crafted.
Oh yeah,
They are
definitely. Yeah.
crafted. They are engineered. The
Yeah.
construction, the words, the word combination,
Yeah.
etc., etc. And if you compare, it's as if when you're reading that, you
Yeah.
may ask yourself, while reading it, like, why didn't you just say this?
Yeah.
Because it's not a spoken
Yeah.
discourse. In
Yeah.
spoken
And
discourse,
we
we
do
would
that,
probably
right,
go
Rudy?
faster and use a way
Well,
faster way of doing that,
when
of
we're
saying that.
writing, we revise the text and we feel that this word belongs here. This word makes better sense. We rarely do that when we're
Yeah,
speaking. I mean,
yeah.
sometimes we have to rephrase something
But
because it
but
was
it's
not clear,
fast.
but
That's
it's
the thing.
much
But
more dynamic. Yeah.
it's super
Yeah.
fast. It's super fast.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
how come? How come?
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to say this, but anyway,
Don't say the
no,
person's
no.
name, okay?
A language institution. They are not language institutions. Seriously,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
charlatans or no. But how come they are saying you don't have to read in order to develop a language?
Yeah.
That is not true. I
They are
tell my
selling the
students
narrative that you
exactly.
can learn
Yeah,
in a simpler way.
yeah,
Because what if you ask most students, what do they fear? What do they hate in an English lesson? They will tell you, I hate grammar, I hate reading text, whatever. So they pick all of those things up and say, oh, you know what? We have to sell a course that has no grammar or reading, you know, because people will enroll, and that's what they're doing. It's marketing, you
and
know. Yeah.
part of that is our fault. Real
Yes.
teachers. Why is that? Because
Yeah.
again, of the nuggets of truth. What is the negative truth that we have here? One of the nuggets of truth that we have here is that we don't need to learn grammar. We don't need to learn rules, which is also, that's true. We had an episode some months ago talking about teaching normative rules.
Yeah.
We definitely don't.
You don't need to learn
We don't need to learn the
explicitly.
rules. That's
It's, you
true.
know, yeah.
But saying that we don't need grammar in order to learn a language.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to open a dictionary and what's the word of the day? I'm going to learn
Yeah.
50 words per day. How are you going to connect the words?
Yeah.
More
How are
than
you
that.
going to make
And
sentences, right?
this,
Yeah.
is they have no idea what I'm going to tell them. It's true. They have no idea that what they're
Yeah.
doing is related to generativism. Because
Yeah.
in generativism, you put one word after the other and you make sentences, which is fairly true. But what
Yeah.
about the intention? there is intentionality behind that. So
Yeah.
if they open a dictionary and they learn 50 words, and if they put the words together, because if they learn, for example, if they learn two adjectives and a noun, they can construct a phrase. They can
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
blue-headed person,
Yeah.
blue-headed person.
Yeah.
It's a phrase. All right, so you are constructing something, but where is the intention? What kind of message is this person trying to convey? And what
Yeah.
about, are you being sarcastic? Are you not being sarcastic? Is this figurative
Yeah.
meaning
What
or
about
not?
pragmatics, right?
What
And
about
does it really,
pragmatics?
really mean what it means literally, or does it mean anything else, right?
It doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything.
Does it mean
That's
anything,
the
right?
it doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything. That's the first
Exactly.
question you got to
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
And I was checking one of those people who actually not the same one. It's a
Yeah.
different one. Uh, I changed. This person has 66.3 thousand followers, man.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
among
let's
them,
not go there, man.
and among them, I'm checking this here. I'm just,
Yeah. Yeah.
taking overlooking at two teachers
Yeah.
that I know are also
Yeah.
following them.
Yeah. Yeah. But maybe
You
they're
know,
like us. We
I know
follow
I
to
don't follow them. I don't
yeah.
follow them.
You don't I follow some charlatans to see what they're
I
posting.
don't.
I
I
do it.
don't. I don't. I really
Not
don't.
because I buy what they're, but because I want to see the absurds that they're posting.
This
Yeah.
person that I just
Yeah.
said that's got 66,000
Yeah.
followers. This person is claiming that if you study English for 21 days on WhatsApp,
Yeah.
you're going to have a fantastic result.
Yeah.
Amazing, huh?
And
Amazing.
Rudy,
On
that's the
WhatsApp.
thing. Yeah. They
Come
go,
on.
so all of the methods that they propose, um, they are very much about self-taught, or self-guided, platforms, basically. So I've seen, and I think a lot of people who are watching us, they know this. There are no live lessons usually. So you
Mhm.
go to a platform,
Yeah.
you watch a lot of videos, you listen to a lot of audio files, whatever. You do
Mhm.
some sort of activity like a quiz. This quiz is kind of based on Duolingo's algorithm, like spaced repetition, which makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, they're killing, or they're eliminating the one thing that we know can really boost your English and language learning, which is social interaction, like talking to real
Ah,
people, right?
how
So
many
they're,
times?
you know,
Look, we've been doing Chá
yeah,
Pedagógico for almost 6 years.
yeah,
We're about to end our fifth year of Chá
yeah, that's
Pedagógico,
true.
the first one here in the new
Yeah.
house, Gisal's house. But we've been doing this for almost 6 years.
Oh,
How
yeah.
many times have we mentioned social interactions?
Probably in every episode, like once at least, right?
And you guys haven't learned this yet?
Yeah,
Seriously? And you
yeah,
still fall for those people who have, just because they have
yeah,
66,000 followers? Oh, let me follow this person because this
yeah,
person probably knows what they're saying. Oh, come on, man.
yeah,
Seriously?
dude. Yeah,
Seriously? Come
and
on.
that's the thing. So we said, let's analyze some methods or methodologies, right? They're slightly different, because if you think about methodology, is the discourse or the study of methods,
Yeah.
right? But if you think about it, there are certain methods that can be more or less suited, let's say, to a student's particular,
Of course.
objective, because some of them will prioritize more or less social interaction. So if we think about different approaches and methods from, I don't know, the turn of the last century, like we talked about grammar translation. So I think, we all agree that this is not a very good method for most people's purposes. People want to travel, communicate, they want to get a promotion at work or whatever. If you are going to receive input in your language, and you have to translate sentences and memorize grammar rules, so very explicit, very teacher centered, of course this is not going to help you with speaking, communicating. So that's why this doesn't really help. Is it an invalid method? Well, it depends. If you're honestly, I don't know, Rudy. If you are going to learn English because you want to translate uh, academic articles. This can be useful to a certain extent, right? But it's not
Um,
going to help you communicate in the real world. So again, we're not saying it's a completely bad method. There are certain things you can borrow from it, but you
yeah,
know,
that's
like Bruno
right.
mentioned, Bruno said, I'm a strong advocate for an eclectic approach to language teaching. So you can borrow certain things from different frameworks, right?
There is something that Daisy's just said. I'm
Yeah,
getting to you very, very shortly, Daisy. But
yeah,
first, we have to remember one thing that many teachers know, but for some reason, I think
yeah,
they they do the talk, but they don't walk the talk. Unfortunately,
yeah.
this idea of one size fits all, forget it.
Yes,
I
doesn't
mean,
exist. Yeah,
we're in 2024. If you still think that the same recipe, if you think the same recipe is going to have the same result for all your students, seriously, stop and reconsider your beliefs or
yeah,
what you've studied, if you've studied something,
yeah,
but reconsider, review certain things, talk to us, come talk to us. Like,
yeah.
I really thought that one size fits all was great, but I was watching Chá Pedagógico, and then you and André said that one size fits all doesn't work anymore. Yeah, let's
Exactly.
talk. Let's talk, but reconsider. Take a look at the poll that we have here.
Yeah,
Is there a best teaching method? Some methods are
yeah,
better. Maybe that's not the thing. No, all methods are good, even grammar translation. Why?
yeah,
Because you just said it, dude. If you have a person that's going to work with translations, or the person just needs just
yeah,
is just going to receive a lot of documents, and this
yeah.
person needs to just make
W-
not even
wasn't
meaning of the
wasn't that
documents,
the purpose, Ben? If you think about the history of grammar translation, wasn't it about monks and priests translating old documents from Latin or ancient Greek, and those languages were dead. Nobody spoke those languages anymore, but they had to
Exactly.
understand the construction so that they
Um,
could translate those documents,
look,
right?
I
Yeah,
I learned
yeah,
the very the few things I know about Latin. I know Latin a little bit.
yeah,
Why? But that's the thing. I
yeah,
know Latin. I know a little of Latin, but I don't speak
yeah,
Latin,
yeah.
because the way that I was taught Latin was grammar
Yeah.
translation.
But if you think
But
about it,
I don't
nobody does.
speak. No,
Not
no. But
even
my
people
point
who
is,
do speak
no,
Latin,
no.
they have no idea what they're saying or
Exactly.
pronouncing.
I'm not even
Yeah.
considering. I'm not even
Yeah.
considering
Yeah.
the relevance of the language. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is that kind of method didn't aim at spoken discourses. They didn't
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
methodology didn't aim at social interactions, at performance,
Exactly.
because 250 years ago they had
Yeah.
no idea. That was the first one.
Yeah.
They were the
Yeah.
first one. So, of course not. So,
Yeah.
again, there isn't one size fits all, doesn't work.
No.
What you got to do is know as many methods as you can.
Yeah.
So, as you identify your students' demands or your students' needs, then you're going to address each of their needs using
Yeah.
maybe this one, that one, depending
Exactly.
on the number of students that you have. You're going to have the same content using two different methods because you have two different people, and you're going to have better results because they are two different people.
Yeah.
So, no, there
And
isn't.
that's, dude, that's exactly what the Department of Foreign Languages, the military, they do, because the audiolingual method is very, very much connected to that.
Yeah.
And I think there there is one of those schools promising that you can transfer your so you can learn English through Portuguese by transferring what you already know in Portuguese, right?
Let me
So
see if I
it's kind
find
of
it.
it's based on the audiolingual method, which is basically, for those of you who worked at certain schools like we did, you had to get your students to repeat a lot. of
Yeah.
sentences,
Hmm.
and sometimes you would say the sentence in Portuguese and the students would repeat in English, right? And then there were a lot of drills, substitution drills, right? Especially substitution drills, right? You
Exactly.
would say, I eat whatever in the morning. And then instead of whatever, they would add something else. But anyway, what happens is, right? I'm not naming
Oh
names.
man, yeah, but if you're old school like us, you know
Yeah,
the kind of you
yeah.
know the institution that we're talking about.
And sure, there a lot of people can learn a lot from that, but to a certain extent, again, um,
But that's
what you can
something,
learn.
yeah,
There's no social interaction
but
in
that's
many
something
lessons,
that's
right?
something
Yeah,
we discussed. You
yeah,
guys, if you don't know, Chá Pedagógico has a special club, an exclusive club on
yeah.
Patreon where you can have access to
Yes.
exclusive content. And yeah, and one of the exclusive content that people who are members of this exclusive club is a study group. And I think the first study group that we had, we
And,
talked
and
about this.
Tasia was there.
Asa
She's
was
here
there,
watching.
yeah.
Yes,
She
Tasia.
can tell you guys about these
Yeah,
the Chá Pedagógico Chá Pedagógico Members Club.
yeah,
Um, so one of the things that we addressed in the first study group session
yeah.
was that no matter what we do, there's always going to be some learning involved. People
Yes.
are going to
We
learn
learn. We
something.
learn.
We learn as long as there's a going back to the very beginning of this episode,
Yeah,
as long as there's attention and some effort,
yeah.
there is going to be some learning.
There's one. I think there's a sentence that kind of illustrates that well, and it comes from the mind brain education science, and it goes like, "Learning is what the brain does." So the brain
Hmm.
will learn, no
Hmm.
matter it could. But there are different ways and different degrees, let's say, or extent, of learning depending on how you teach, right? Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
But I understood your point, Daisy. Daisy, yeah, that's not your point. That's
yeah,
what your students were saying. She
yeah.
said that she is a public school teacher and her students don't care
They
about
learn by
grammar.
themselves, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, well, I'm going
Yeah,
to
some
learn through
students
games.
are amazing, self-taught,
Um,
right? Yeah,
First of all, this is happening. This is a phenomenon
yeah,
coming with this new generation that thinks that they don't have to go to school
yeah,
because if they go to school, they're going to be taught things that are
uh,
not going to be relevant to them, or
yeah.
that things that are not going to give them any financial return, you
That's
know.
true. There are even
Um,
some influencers, right?
exactly,
Preteens influencers. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And they're not completely wrong. Again, a negative
yeah,
truth. We have a
yeah,
negative
yeah,
truth here, because yes, they are going to learn something, but what they don't know, and it's okay that they don't know,
yeah,
but at the same time, it is hard for us to make them understand because they're teenagers. Every time we engage in any kind of language
yeah,
communication, spoken, written discourse, it doesn't matter,
yeah,
regardless of the kind of discourse, there is grammar, because if there's no grammar,
yeah,
they're just a bunch of words
yeah.
that people are
Whether you
producing.
know what that grammar structure is called or not. So
Exactly.
you can learn that explicitly. Your teacher can
Yes,
tell this is called this or not. You can just learn how to structure it, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
And actually, there are two terms for
yeah.
people who actually communicate without any kind of grammatic rules whatsoever. First is a pidgin. What is a pidgin? It's been a long time I don't talk about this. I think it's
Yeah,
let's go back to the very first year of Shop Pedagógico. I think in the first years of Shop Pedagógico, I talked about
yeah.
pidgin. Um,
We were crazier back then, more
we were
adventurous.
younger. We were
Yeah,
younger.
yeah, definitely. We
We were
were we
younger.
were younger a couple of seconds ago, man. So we're just getting older, you know.
No, you are. I'm not. I'm not. As
Of
you can
course not, right?
see, I'm not
Yeah,
getting old.
yeah,
What is a pidgin? What is a
yeah,
pidgin? A pidgin is normally a person that goes to a different country. This person that arrives
yeah,
at a different country doesn't know how to communicate in this country. What this person knows is maybe two or three words, and some words that sound like words but are not produced as actual words, and then this person just produces word after word. It's like um A person that goes, let's say, to an English spoken country, and this person doesn't have any deep knowledge of English, but this person says just car and uses gestures
Yeah.
to make it up for the
It's
lack of
like
linguistic
when we travel to
repertoire.
a country where people don't speak any English and you go
Exactly.
just pointing and you use
Yeah, so that's a
words.
pidgin, or
Yeah.
some words that
Yeah.
resemble. They're
Yeah.
not actual words. They're productions. They are
Yeah.
phonological productions that resemble words, but they're not words. Do you guys remember some years ago? There was this that Big Brother reality show, and there was one participant, and she
Yeah.
thought she was singing in English. I think she sang
Yeah,
"We're the
she's saying we
World."
are the world.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, I
So
remember.
that can be considered a
Yeah.
pidgin because they were not
Yeah.
actual words, but those were phonological productions that
Yeah.
resembled actual words. So that's a
Well, it's
pidgin.
like my mom singing the Beatles, you know. She tries her best, but she doesn't speak English, guys, you know. And she feels like she's actually using the right words. Yeah. You
Well,
know.
anyway,
Yeah.
so that's a pidgin. And once you start learning the language, then you're going to learn a couple of things. For
Yeah.
example, you're going to learn more words, you're going to enhance your repertoire, or you're going to deepen your repertoire,
Yeah.
and you have some instances of grammar, some instances of grammar. For example, uh, me hungry. But really, this is
Uh-huh.
grammatically incorrect.
Grammatically
But the
wrong. Yeah.
person understood the
Exactly.
S, the predicate, and the subject, the notion of I have a subject here and I
Yeah.
have an adjective here, I have a predicate here,
Yeah.
me hungry. So that's an instance of grammar. So this
Yeah.
person evolved from Pidgin to Creole. That's Creole
Yeah.
when you have some instances of grammar. So again, what your
Perfect.
students are saying, Daisy, is that basically they're probably using Creole. It's well in linguistics we call it, this is the Creolization of the
Yeah.
language because they are
But
not,
they can
you know.
be quite competent as well.
Of course, of course.
Having, you know, like Daisy mentioned, and that but the question here is, maybe they do know grammar implicitly, right? Like Daisy said, they don't care so much about grammar, but what purpose do they have? Because I don't know. Are they
Yeah.
going to study abroad? They have to take, you know, IELTS, CPE,
Hmm.
you know, TOEFL, whatever, because there's a huge difference between being a self-taught individual, because we have that power. Not
Yeah.
everybody,
Hmm.
because it takes a lot of effort as well, a lot of commitment, a lot of exposure, but a lot of the courses that we have that those people call traditional courses, they're just, you know, deceiving everyone. They're not telling you the truth. They're preparing people for those exams,
Yeah.
because you have, you know, if you want to study abroad, if you want to work abroad, you have to take those exams. And
Hmm.
even studying after many years, there's no guarantee that you're going to pass the CPE, folks, right? The CPE is hard. It's really hard, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
TOEFL is really hard for you to get, you know, between 100 and
Yeah.
120. It's really hard. We
Yeah.
took it, you know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
do you think those guys promising to teach you in a couple of weeks will prepare you for international exams? So there again, what is the purpose? Is it only communication? Is it only traveling? I don't know.
Yes.
So we have to be
And
careful, right?
it's also
Yeah.
about, because look, we have a follow up from Daisy
Yeah.
here saying that some of our students actually have better performances, linguistic performances.
Yeah.
But what do you consider to be uh, speak better than some of the students I had? Speak better in what terms?
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
maybe they were more linguistically competent. Like Tasia asked, competent but not fluent. Well, that
it
depends,
depends as well because
because
fluency is
yeah,
lack of hesitation,
yeah.
and still,
Fluidity, right? Think
yes, and
about the river, you know.
exactly.
Yeah,
And you
it
can still have some
flows. Yeah,
hesitation as a filler. I wrote an article
yeah,
some years
yeah,
ago about fillers and people who
yeah.
actually use um uh these are
Like
fillers. Like,
and
but of
yeah,
course, when you have an exaggeration, that's a problem. But in what terms? So
yeah,
uh, we have to be very careful. We cannot rush things up in
yeah,
labeling things. We're not saying that they are completely wrong. As I told you guys, there is a negative truth in this case. Yes, it's possible to learn. Games are going
Yeah.
to um, ex- give students a chance to be in touch with maybe repertoire that they're
Like
not going to
our
have.
big brother has just mentioned, Eric said, if they're playing games, they're probably exposed to the language.
This
Yeah,
as well. I'm not
hours
even
and
talking
hours. Yeah,
about. I'm not even talking about
yeah,
length of exposure, but I'm talking about the language.
yeah,
They are going to be exposed to certain languages that maybe they wouldn't in real life, even if they had a chance in
yeah,
real life. There is,
yeah.
but what in this case, Daisy, because we still have to talk about some other crazy stuff that we've
Yeah,
seen here.
yeah,
My 2 cents here for you, Daisy. Try to talk to them like see a filler. Uh, Look, you think grammar is not important. Maybe the names are not important.
yeah.
You don't need to know what
Explicit
a
grammar.
present
Yeah,
perfect is. You don't need to know what
yeah,
a gerund is. You don't need to know
yeah.
what modal verb is. That's fine.
Conditionals or
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah,
But I think, Daisy, you could point out the presence of grammar in what they are being exposed to, in the language that they're being exposed to. Like, oh, this is what you're being exposed to? Okay,
yeah,
great. Look, there's grammar here.
yeah. And
You
if I
see?
understood correctly, they already know grammar implicitly.
Yeah.
After all, they're better, they're more competent than other students Daisy had, right?
Yeah,
And that's, again, we can learn things by ourselves,
of
yes.
course.
But if, again, it's not as people sell, like those charlatans sell on Instagram. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, how many
let's all learn on WhatsApp. Let's create a big
how many
community and learn on
hours
WhatsApp
how many
groups.
hours did those kids spend playing video games, and there's a lot of interaction going on there because you have missions to complete when you play video games. Now, if you this is interesting, if you just receive a lot of input from, I don't know, an online platform, but then you don't have to do anything, so you're pretty much passive, that takes longer. If you have to do something, that's why, Duolingo, for example, you have to speak, you have to say a couple of things, and you have to put the words in the correct order, but they are very, very artificial. So if does it mean that if I spend a whole semester learning from Duolingo, I'm prepared for a real conversation with a person? So again, that's what they're selling. They're saying, hey, use this app. Well, it's based on neuroscience, it has artificial intelligence, it's going to give
Yes.
you, I don't know,
It's going
six
to it's
ten
going to
times.
unlock your mindset for
Yeah,
to become fluent. The problem is that
yeah,
your mind is locked, and you have
yeah.
to unlock your
You have
mind
to
to become
unlock your
fluent.
mindset, folks. That's how you learn. Come on.
Jesus,
Yeah,
it's interesting. Of course, everything here is
yeah,
not things here don't happen by chance
yeah.
because we do organize every episode. But there's this Brazilian startup company. It's an ed tech company, and they're
Uh-huh.
saying that they have an app, a link for language learning
Yeah.
that's powered by AI, by artificial
Yeah,
intelligence. And
everything is powered by AI nowadays,
okay, first
right?
red flag here. The first red flag here is in their ad. I'm looking down because
Yeah.
I'm taking a look at their ads right now.
Yeah,
It's here. Okay,
yeah.
it was very fast, so nobody could see who I'm talking about.
You're not
So
coming up with that, right, Rudy?
I'm
It's
not.
actually there.
It's actually there.
Yeah,
You know. So the first red flag is that it's a WhatsApp group. So what
yeah.
kind of app? And then, but
I
it's
don't
on
know.
WhatsApp. So first of all, that's not an app.
Yeah.
I do have one of my postgraduate
I don't
degrees
know,
is
man.
on technology for education. That doesn't look like an app. Then if you say
Yeah.
that you have an app and you use WhatsApp, that's not an app. You're using WhatsApp, and they're
Well,
claiming that,
WhatsApp is an app, but it's not an
but it's not
English
there.
learning app.
It's not there.
It's not.
You
They
know,
didn't create WhatsApp,
they
right?
didn't create WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they claim that you can interact and practice your
Yeah.
um your speaking skills in this app.
Okay.
Air quotes here.
There are
because
AI
because the
bots
AI is going
or
to
something
have
like
some
that.
sort of interaction. No, you're not going to have an interaction with AI the same way
Yeah,
you don't have a real interaction with Alexa or
yeah.
Siri or whoever. You don't.
Be
You
careful
don't.
when Rudy says Google, my phone picks it up, and
And when you
and when
say
I say
Google, my
his
phone picks
car
up.
phones. So
You
yeah,
know.
I do know how. Yeah, but anyway, yeah,
So they're claiming that if you do that, this is look, I'm taking a look at the checkpoints here.
yeah,
This AI is going to tell us where the pronunciation
yeah,
is wrong.
yeah.
Tell them the way.
I've
This
seen
is
this. Yeah,
precious.
yeah.
The
I've
correct
seen that.
way to speak a sentence.
Uh-huh.
What is the correct way of speaking a
Yeah,
sentence? Seriously, what is the correct way
yeah.
of speaking a sentence? That's, unbelievably
And
crazy.
okay,
And and this app teaches you new
yeah,
words. Look, you need an app to teach you new words. Why
yeah.
don't you use a dictionary?
I think Cirilu wants to know what app that is in the
Okay.
chat. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Cirilu, no
No,
names.
no, we're not going to tell names. No, 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 no.
You
We're not
know,
going to tell names. We're not going to expose
yeah,
directly them, but
yeah. But
yeah.
Ben, it's okay. Of course, some technologies can help.
Very briefly,
Yeah,
Cyrilo, if you really want to know the names, talk to us in
yeah.
private.
Send us
And
a private
yeah,
message. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's better.
yeah.
But really, there, of course, you can implement some tech, to your language learning teaching
Hmm.
experience. We're not saying anything against that. I mean, even though I think the premise is wrong. What is the premise? Because from what we know, from years of neuroscience and psychology is that you have to make the effort yourself. There is no app or hardware that will make it easier or faster for you to learn, because that would involve a very complex mechanics of how do you learn faster from a brain perspective. Well, do you increase the electrical discharge in your brain? And it's not just it's organically not possible or not feasible, because you don't have the anatomy to withstand something like that. You
Dude,
have to do the thing yourself. So that's the kind of promise that they are making
back
is based on that.
Back to the Futures Doc
Yeah.
had a hard time charging DeLorean.
Remember, exactly.
So
They had to
a
catch
car
a
or
lightning.
brain, they had to catch lightning in order for DeLorean to
See, that's
travel
the
through time,
yes,
and it was
yes.
hard. They almost failed. They almost failed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
no,
But
it's
but
not
that's the thing. It's
organically. That's not
no.
going to happen organically.
And even if you and now I'm talking about a real neuroscientist, a Brazilian neuroscientist, Carla Chepo, who actually said,
Yeah, she's
and
good.
I think Luis, our buddy Luis,
Yeah,
studied with her
yeah,
at
he did.
Santa Casa. I think they had a
Yes.
neuroscience and education course. But she said something on a podcast that is really relevant. Okay, there are two ways for you to boost learning, really. And we still don't have any possible way of implementing those ways. The first way is if you install some sort of hardware into your head, and that will boost electrical signals. We cannot do
Which
that.
is
We
not going to
cannot do that.
not even the
No,
crazy bastard
no,
Elon Musk can
no.
do
With
that.
Neuralink and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
No.
So, but there is something called transcranial brain stimulation that is kind of trying to get there, but still very, very early beginnings. And then the other way is for you to install software inside the brain, and that would require you to put some sort of program that runs your neurons. And no, we're very far away from something like that. So it's not really about the method, it's about the amount of information you can process because of your brain. So there is no revolutionary method, folks,
Mm-mm.
because your brain has a limit. Our
Yeah.
brains are limited.
Yes.
And it also depends on the purpose. Sure, you want to teach them grammar implicitly. You don't want to teach them the names of the structures because maybe they want to travel and be able to talk to people. Okay, you can borrow stuff from the audiolingual method.
Yes, that's fine.
Sure. You want to teach them communicative approach oriented, style. Okay, sure. Do a lot of pair work, use the PPP framework, presentation, practice, production, or engage, study, activate, whatever. But there's a limit to how much they can learn. And are they going to be required in the future to take the IELTS or CPE or whatever? Or is it for some other purpose? And still, it's going to take a lot more than 5 months
And
for
to be
them
ve-
to get to the
and to be
C1
very
level.
honest,
You know?
if you have students that actually aim at international certificates,
Yeah.
uh, maybe none of these methodologies are the best because we're talking about an
Yeah.
exam. So it's like teaching at a cursinho, and
Exactly.
those guys just want to get a
Yeah.
good grade on an exam.
It's a prep course, right? Exam
Exactly.
prep course. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
So maybe all you got to do is go through some mock tests
Yeah.
and things like that. The same goes for people who want to do well at a master's course here in Brazil because they're required to take a test in either Spanish or English in many universities. Some of them
But they're not
French,
required to really speak the language that well,
especially
right?
because many of
Yeah.
those exams are in Portuguese or sometimes in English, and you can answer in Portuguese. And so you see,
Yeah.
not even, and then it's not even a different methodology. It's a different approach. It's a completely different approach, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I just laughed because Ellie
yeah,
wrote
it just popped here.
once the members send a 30-minute long, is it 30-minute? Yeah, long audio blessing and greeting everybody. Okay. That person really wanted to practice, right? Giselle. Was that like a WhatsApp message? Okay.
Giselle, I have a question for you. How
Yeah.
do you know that?
Did
If
you
you know
listen to the
that,
whole thing?
exactly. If you know that, Giselle, it's because you listened to the whole message. Why did you do that?
Oh my, yeah. That's
Did you
crazy, right?
have anything else to do in at that day on that day?
When I
why
get
did you do
messages that
that?
are longer than 3 minutes, I go like, "Oh no, come on."
Although sometimes we do text each other,
We
and we
we
always
speed
say,
up.
"Oh, I'm so sorry, man." We start a message asking, saying, "Dude, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. It's very long. It's a long message, etc., etc., etc."
Yeah.
You know,
I normally say,
um,
"Dude, I hate sending you audio messages, but I'm driving or doing whatever." And then he always says, "Be
yes,
careful, don't cause an accident," right?
exactly. You shouldn't do that, dude. You
Yeah.
shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So again, we have to be very careful with the charlatans that we have. Okay. Oh, Tamiris. She's
Yes.
here. Hi,
Ah,
Tamiris.
look at that. Hello, Tommy. Good to have you here. Oh
Good to
no.
have you.
Oh no.
Oh
I
no,
don't
too
know
long.
what
Yeah,
you said.
I think she's
Too
talking
long.
about the 30-minute long.
Oh, too long. Yes, very
It's
long indeed, right?
30 minutes
Yeah.
is like sometimes it's longer than
Come on.
serious
Yeah.
episodes.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
some serious episodes that take, I don't know, 25.
I mean, it's
You know,
half an episode of Chá Pedagógico, right? So come on.
exactly. You've been talking to us for
Yeah.
63 minutes.
Yeah.
Cirilo, if you like that, Chá Pedagógico is a podcast that happens every Sunday, every last Sunday
Last
of the
Sunday.
month,
Yeah,
and you can follow the previous episodes here on Gisal's YouTube
definitely.
channel. All you got to do is go to the live section or the
There's a
playlist,
playlist,
and
yeah,
you
on
there's
the
a
YouTube
playlist for
channel.
Chá
Yeah.
Pedagógico, and you can watch
So
the old
cool.
episodes.
Thanks to
And
Eric, right? Eric,
thanks.
the big
Oh, the
brother,
whole, yeah, everyone,
and
everyone,
Tamiris
and
and
Tamiris and
Jessica
the big
and
sister,
Lyrica and everybody. Thank you so
and
much, folks.
Cirilo, if you're really
Yeah.
into the conversations, I don't know if you were here when we talked about
Yeah.
the Chá Pedagógico Members Club. We do have a members club on Patreon, and we have
Yes.
3 different tiers. If you can and if you want, You can
You
become a
have to check
member.
it
You
out.
choose the
Yes.
tier that you want, the membership tier you want, and you're going to have access to
Yeah.
exclusive contents. It's on Patreon. Tasia is already there, so
Yes.
if you want a referral, she is the best referral that we have,
Yeah.
and she's also here. And if you guys want to bring Chá Pedagógico to your school because you really want to have this kind of conversation with your group of teachers, with your
Yeah.
coordinators and principals,
Even face to
etc.,
face, you know?
face to face. I'm talking
That
about
would be
face to
even
face
better.
now. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about online
Yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah.
Rudy, I'm from Acre. We are going to find a way.
We've never been, so
I've never been
we,
to
we,
Acre.
we, we would love to go,
I know
right?
3 people from Acre. They are very good
Yeah.
friends of mine, but I've never
No.
been to Acre before because they've
Yeah.
been living here in Campinas for quite a while. So I've never been to Acre, but that's fine. So all you got
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
is private message us, talk to us, and we can find a way to bring Chá
Yeah.
Pedagógico to your school.
That would be
Both of
so
us,
cool.
we're going to be there, and
Yes,
you're going to
Tommy.
see our ugly faces if you want. All right. So
But what are the takeaways, man? Because
exactly.
we're running out of time. I just want to give you guys, folks, this one message. If it sounds too good to be true, it's BS, probably. Okay. And here are the, like Rudy said, the red flags. If they mention an expert from whatever university who discovered a region of the brain that needs to be activated, and if they say that they created their own method based on their experience abroad, right? They say, hey, I spent some, I don't know, 6 months in the US, and I found out that you can teach your students to learn more effectively if you do this. And traditional schools, they don't want you to know the truth.
Run for the
Major red
hills.
flag.
Run
Okay.
to the hills.
Run to the
to the
hills.
hills. Like,
And also, if they say that the traditional methods are bad and wrong, and no,
no, they're not.
it really depends. I think, as Bruno mentioned, we have to be more eclectic. We have to look at certain things from different methodologies or methods in this case, and borrow according to, well, the students' interests, the students' objectives, right? That's what we have to do. So we have to learn more about methodology, guys.
Yes.
Learn more about methodology.
Exactly. There's no escape.
Yeah.
We mentioned in the very beginning of this episode, you have Rogers and Richards and Richards.
Yes,
We also have
Rogers,
Richards
yes,
and
yeah,
Long.
yeah.
Richards
Yes.
and Long.
Yes.
It's you have to
I have
read Pennier's books.
Pennier. That's great. Yeah.
If you haven't read any of her books,
here.
I have 3 of them here.
Yes.
Do it as fast as you can.
Yes.
Disal has some of her books on their website, and you can use, hopefully the promo code is still valid. It's hashtag Disal30 or Disal30, 30, hashtag Disal 30 or 30, and you're going to get some discounts in the checkout. Use the promo code at the checkout, and you're going to have a very nice discount. They have these books there. Pennier. I'm going to spell out her name here in the chat box. It's
there.
Penny
I have a bunch here.
Me too. But because I'm not
Scott
home,
Thornberry,
I cannot show
example. Them. Even Jim Scrivener. Remember
Jim Scrivener?
Yes. Scott Thornberry. Who else? There's so many.
Yeah.
Will Renendia, like I said before. Yeah.
Exactly. And guys, again, don't fall for that. Be extra careful. Be extra careful not to spend your precious money because you work hard for your money and you're going to waste it away. So don't use your money for any of that.
Know the arguments when students come to you, because they do. They come to us and say, hey, I heard somewhere that I can learn in 5 weeks, in 6 weeks, in 1 year. And then, take it easy.
Yeah.
What do you want? What is your objective?
Exactly.
How many hours can you dedicate a week?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. What's your level?
Right. Yeah.
And then tell them, be honest, transparent. Okay.
Always.
I can help you, but it doesn't work like that because your brain is limited. And then, you know what? I happen to study methodology. We happen to teach methodology at university. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
Exactly. It's like people coming to you because they want to, I don't know, they want to lose weight very fast, or they
Yeah.
want to become excellent public speakers in 2 months because they're going to a conference.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, folks. It
Mm-mm.
takes time, effort, commitment. Okay,
Yes.
don't fall for the BS they're selling online.
Exactly.
That's
Guys,
it, right?
look, if you really liked, like Cirilo said, if you like the episode and if you like the previous episodes, don't forget, follow
Yes.
Giselle's YouTube channel and click on the little bell icon, because then you're going to be notified every time Chá Pedagógico is on air, is live, and you're going to get a notification.
Yeah.
Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button that we have here. The algorithm is going to understand that you loved it, and it's going to be boosted to many other accounts here on YouTube. If
That's
you
true, yeah.
also think that many of your peers will love this episode,
Share
and
us.
share
Come
the
on,
link.
yes.
Use your socials.
Like Tommy said, let's support Chá Pedagógico. Thank
Yes,
you, Tommy.
thank you,
Yes,
Tamiris. Thank
that's
you so
it.
much for that. And
Yeah.
share the link. You have socials. Take screenshots. Take screenshots and tag us on YouTube, on Instagram. We're everywhere, basically, social media wise.
Yes.
If you really want to have access to exclusive content, go to Patreon. We have Chá Pedagógico's
Exclusive members
club.
Yeah,
Exactly. And if you really want to bring Chá Pedagógico to your institution, to your group of teachers, talk to us, and we're going to find a way to be with you guys live, face to face, talking,
especially if you're from
this kind of
Acre,
this.
because we've never been there. Dude, that's
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was awesome.
Lyrica, thank you. Eric was our big brother today. Thank you so much. Jessica, our big sister. Thank you so much. Tamiris, thank you
And
so much.
Tamiris,
This is our crew. If we're here, it's because of them. They are backing
Yes.
us up at Giselle. Thank you so much for that. And thank you guys for joining us today. I'll see you guys around.
Yes.
See ya.
And be ready for the next episode, because it's the Christmas special. And we do something, okay?
Exactly.
You'll find out soon
Exactly.
enough. Okay.
Yes.
See you guys. Bye. Thank you. Yes.
See ya.
And be ready for the next episode, because it's the Christmas special. And we do something, okay?
Exactly.
You'll find out soon enough.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
See you guys. Bye. Thank you. Yes.
See ya.
And be ready for the next episode, because it's the Christmas special. And we